Good morning, Upper Dublin. I'm Matt.
And I'm Quinn. Today on UDTV, we have an interview with the one and only Mr. Bligin, and we've got the lead on the construction plans for the new Sandy Run.
Stay tuned. Mr. Bligin has appeared on UDTV in the past to lend his expertise on different topics.
That's right, Matt. But today, we have him here to discuss a much more important story, his own.
Hello, I'm here with Mr. Bligin. And for those of you who don't know him, Mr. Bligin, can you tell us what you teach?
Here?
Yeah.
Or ever?
Here, at Upper Dublin.
I teach mostly 9th grade. It's Rise of Modern America for the cool kids. They call it Roma. That and then the honors course of it.
Okay. And what is your favorite thing about teaching?
My favorite thing about teaching is the interaction with the kids. Honestly, I consider myself like a youthful person. So therefore, to interact with them and try to connect the things that they see today in news and in pop culture to things of the past and actually see those connections being made, that's like very powerful to me.
And you think youth and like pop culture relates to the rise of modern America?
Absolutely, because we're getting to modern America, therefore the beginnings of pop culture, the beginnings of youth taking the lead, the beginnings of movements across the world based on different ideas. It happens during the time period. You know, you don't really have the video or the music of the stuff that we have today, but it begins there and you still feel it today. So yeah, there's definitely a connection in my eyes. Okay,
and outside of school, like what kind of music and artists do you kind of listen to?
Oh man, well I feel kind of bad because, you know, I love Kanye. Kanye was like probably my favorite artist.
I love Kanye too.
But this past weekend on Twitter he went in, so I don't know if he's my favorite artist anymore. No, I still love Kanye. First 5 albums though.
The old Kanye.
Old Kanye, yes.
Okay, what college did you go to?
I went to the University of Pittsburgh. I started off at a branch campus, which is Pitt-Titusville.
What kind of activities did you get into at University of Pittsburgh?
Well, when I was at Pitt-Titusville, I would play basketball, you know, always into the ladies, hanging out, you know, having a good time. I was a Madden champion a couple of years, so I was very, very proud of that. Once I went to the University of Pittsburgh, I did a lot of work did intramurals, joined a fraternity, things like that. You know, I was very sociable. I like to make sure that none of those things show up on social media, but I was very sociable.
All right. Well, we're glad, the students here are glad that you chose Upper Dublin, and I'm sure they'll see you around.
It's hard to miss me.
Thank you, Jada and Mr. Bligin, for that great interview.
I have to agree with Mr. Bligin on Kanye, but I doubt Lift Yourself will be featured today on Music Friday.
What's up, UD? I'm Blake Nudis, and welcome to the last edition of New Music Friday. Today I'll be filling you guys in on the new releases for the spring of 2018. First up, we have Arctic Monkeys, who are releasing their 6th album, Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino, on May 11th. The album's track list has already been revealed, and some titles have earned some attention because of their odd nature. Songs like The Ultra Cheese and Bat Phone are sure to make an impression. Arctic Monkeys are one of my favorite bands, and they're also one of the most respected indie rock bands of the 21st century. While their past few albums have been on the poppier side, I will still be listening to this album on repeat for at least a week, so just give it a shot. Next is James Bay, who is dropping Electric Light on May 18th. The singer-songwriter is known for his unique voice and soulful, catchy choruses. With the success of his 2014 single, Let It Go, Bay is back with an album that will most likely be on radio repeat during the summer. His singles Us and Pink Lemonade are already becoming very popular. James Bay is keeping up his reputation with his sophomore album, so give it a listen. And finally, I have a band that many of you will not be familiar with. Parquet Courts is a New York-based rock band that formed in 2010. Their 6th studio album, Wide Awake, comes out on May 18th. Parquet Courts has a long history of upbeat art punk rock songs that are reminiscent of late 90s grunge. In the past, they've tended to focus more on instrumental tracks, but recently they've expanded and become more commercial. Their album titled Single is a great representation of this transition. It's upbeat, unique, and has a subtle influence of Latin music. So have a listen to that as well. And before we go, just make sure to check out these other albums that are out within the spring and summer seasons. Have a great end of the year, UD.
I'm sure most of you have seen the plans for the new Sandy Run building on the district website.
Josh Portney has more information on this exciting project.
The Upper Dublin School District is tearing down the old St. Norman Middle School and building a new one. I hit the halls to see what the biggest problems were with the old middle school.
What was the worst part of the middle school?
The mice, classrooms.
Probably the annex. You know, it's all crowded. The lockers are sticking out.
The sixth grade building was like freezing.
Yeah, there were a lot of mice.
The new St. Norman Middle School will only have one building, so say a sad goodbye to the annex. The new building will be compact and feature 3 floors of classrooms, 1 floor for each grade. The distance from end to end in the new building will be 500 feet, as compared to over 1,000 feet from the annex to the planetarium in the old building. There will be 2 new turf fields, easier access for buses, and better parent drop-off. Now my only question is, why couldn't they have thought of this before we all left?
Thank you, Josh.
Now we'll send it over to Dom and the other Josh for another Upper Dublin construction project. Every day throughout the school year, our Upper Dublin sports teams practice or play at Spark Fields.
It is a little-known fact that this summer, Spark is going to be redone. This marks the end of the original fields which were installed back in 2007.
The total cost for Spark's refurbishment will be around $185,000, but it will be money well spent as it will be used every day.
Once approved by the school board, both of the fields will be torn up and replaced, making it the best place for outdoor sports in Upper Dublin.
This project is absolutely necessary because the current turf is extremely matted down and does not allow for the optimum performance of athletes.
That's right. Our Cardinal sports teams are going to benefit greatly from these new field improvements.
If all goes to plan, UD, we'll see you next year with a new and improved Spark Field.
I didn't realize the quality of turf affected the ball.
Well, if it does, the boys lacrosse team didn't seem to notice. CJ and I spoke with one of the players for the story. Thank you, myself. Welcome to UD Talk Sports. I'm your host, Quinn Burns. Today we have CJ going out on the field to interview some of the lacrosse players. CJ, tell me a little bit about the atmosphere out there.
Well, Quinn, we're down here. The players are hyped up. The game's going to start in a little bit. These players are just amped up to play.
And CJ, tell me a little bit about the players out there. How are they doing?
So, Brody, you're having a pretty good season, and what has been your toughest game yet this year?
Well, toughest game so far is probably Avon Grove. So far, only lost. They're just good guys. They battled us hard, fought to the end. I think we'll see them again down the road, though. So keep you updated.
And what has I know you start this year, and what has that been like?
It's electric out there on the field with the boys, just running out on the field, getting hype, everything like that. I love it.
Interesting. And your playoff projections, because you guys are ranked high in the state, are you looking to go pretty far, or do you think it's going to be a tough road?
I think it'll be a tough road, but I think we'll still make it pretty far. Yeah.
Thank you, CJ. Well, this has been another episode of UD Talk Sports. Make sure to go check out the boys lacrosse team. And as always, go Cards. I got the impression that they've got a really tightly knitted team, and they're only getting better.
This Monday is Memorial Day.
We've got the day off of school, which should give us plenty of time to thank a veteran.
Memorial Day, the last Monday of May and the start of the summer season. But I'll tell you what, it's not just for playing cornhole and flipping burgers. Originally known as Decoration Day, it originated in the years following the Civil War and became an official federal holiday in 1971. It's a day to honor all those who served in the U.S. military. So this Memorial Day, take the time to thank a vet and enjoy your burger.
Gracias por el servicio. That means thank you for your service.
Thanks, veterans.
Thank you to all the troops, especially Mr. Morrison.
Thank you, Grandpa, for your service. I'm ready for
Thank you, Uncle, for your service.
I would like to thank my aunt. She served in Afghanistan. I want to thank my uncle. He was in the Army. And I want to thank my grandfather. He was in World War II.
Thank you for serving our country.
My grandfather served in the Marines. Thanks, Grandpa.
Thank you, veterans, for serving.
Thank you, veterans. Thanks, Grandpa.
Thank you, veterans.
Thank you, veterans.
And a big thank you to all of our teachers and support staff who have served our country. That's our show for today, UD.
We'll be back in June for the last UDTV episode of the year.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Quinn, and this has been
Your UDTV.